and welcome to Mondays with Maria Gould. Today is Monday, November the 10th, 2025, and we are on episode 36. Now, as promised, we bring you Tiffany Chingee, and she is from the nation. Now, forgive me, Tiffany, and please correct me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. She's from the Chingee Nation, and she is a fellow Theta Healing practitioner and Reiki master from McLeod Lake. And she has been an empath her whole life as well. So welcome, Tiffany.
Hello, everyone.
Recording in progress.
So I'm so happy to have you on our podcast here. We're doing something a little bit different, everybody. We are recording Tiffany over Zoom. So hopefully this works with our technology today and it isn't too echoey. So thanks for tuning in today. So Tiffany, tell me about your journey. What was life like for you before you understood what it meant to be an empath? And then maybe we'll describe a little bit what an empath is, but what was life like for you?
Before I understood what being an empath was, my life was really overwhelming and chaotic and really stressful. I didn't have a way of dealing with it, where I was bombarded with feeling emotions that were sometimes complex, because one minute I was angry, one minute I was sad, and one minute I was overwhelmed to a point where I couldn't handle it. Mm-hmm. So I ended up, turning to trying to manage the way I was feeling by trying to manage it by myself, especially as a young teenager, where it got really bad when I ended up in high school. High school is where I really felt it quite a bit. And not knowing all through high school that I was feeling everyone else's insecurities at the time. Yeah. And if you've been in high school, you know how your body's changing and you're not feeling the best, you're feeling unsure about yourself. Having that being amplified to a point where you really believe that that's how you feel about yourself. Mm-hmm. So I ended up developing an eating disorder to deal with it by getting rid of the emotions and being bulimic. So that's how I would manage with how I would feel.
Wow, that's difficult, right? So as an empath, we can have a tendency to feel what other people feel. And just like you were saying, those sort of roller coaster of emotions, one minute you're sad, one minute you're angry. And did you feel that the most in your stomach? That's where I would always feel it too. Yeah.
The most in my stomach. It wouldn't feel very strong. I would feel very more like soft in the stomach, sometimes hard. Mm-hmm. And it would get to a point where my stomach would actually hurt.
And then the purging of bulimia kind of helped relieve that, get some of that out. Wow.
It did, yes.
Right. Okay, but not a healthy way to cope, right, in the long term. We don't want to encourage that. So how did you start to look at healing how you were coping, healing the bulimia?
So after I had my first panic attack back in 2012, I started to understand myself more closely. And when I had my first panic attack, it brought awareness to that I wasn't okay emotionally, that I was overwhelmed, that I was stressed. And there was a lot of other things at play in it. And I started to realize that I was feeling other people's emotions a bit there. Mm-hmm. My journey of healing started when I met Sandra, and she was a Reiki practitioner. Mm-hmm. I also met Lauren, and she was EMDR. And I met Nicole, and she was a part of my community, married to my cousin, and she too was an empath, and she did Reiki. She had her level 2 Reiki, and I was just starting my journey by doing Reiki. So when I learned how to do Reiki, I started learning about people's emotions and feeling energy, and learning about just basically touching and getting familiar with that, and putting pieces together of I'm actually one of the first times I had somebody notice something about it, like I used to work at reception and I had someone come in and they were really sad. And I asked them, I was like, why are you so sad? And they're like, how do you know I'm sad? And I said, I just feel that you're sad. And I said, oh, well, yeah, no, I am sad. And they acknowledged it and they said they feel sad. And that was confirmation for me. And I'm like, doesn't everyone feel how everyone feels? And it was a moment for me to clarity of, I thought everyone could do that. I thought everyone knew how someone was feeling, which is why when I interact with people, I would see if they're okay, they're upset. But unknowingly, I was taking on a lot of their emotions. I just didn't know it at the time.
Wow.
So,
cool.
Reiki was the beginning for me. And then after I did the attunement, I started having a lot of emotions come up that were unmanageable. Even with Reiki, like my heart started to open. So I remember Nicole knew a friend and her sister Monica did her first few levels of theta healing. And she was sharing with Nicole and we're getting into understanding energy, understanding ourselves and how excitement was. And she's like, oh, I know this girl. Her name's Monica. I know Monica. She's my sister. She's like really in tune with this beautiful teacher. She's talking about theta healing. She's talking about this meditation. And I didn't really understand it at the time. Like I didn't get it. If you were here for the first time, you're like, whoa, what's that about, right?
Yeah.
And then I started connecting with it because during the time Nicole hadn't done the classes herself yet, but she knew a friend named Bill and he done theta healing. And she's, I owe him a tradesy and he owes me a tradesy. I think you're really struggling, Tiffany. I think you can really use this session from him. And so she was watching the kids at the daycare and she let me go and do a session with him over the phone. And I was like, well, don't I have to be in person? Apparently not.
And a new concept of healing. What? I don't have to be a person?
I was like, okay, so this is new. This is different. You know, I'm not sure yet, but I tried it. And he connected right away with Creator and he was respectful and just open to what I was feeling and experiencing and held space for me. And a lot of what I had coming up was ancestral trauma. And I had never felt such a beautiful, calming sensation. I felt so safe and everything that I was experiencing was okay. And that was my first interaction with theta healing. And then after that, I sought out Maria via her website. I remember the first time I knocked on her door. I remember driving to Vanderhoof, going to her house, going to her address, because we have the beautiful technology of GPS, you know, on our phones now. I was so nervous, and I'm like, I'm doing this. I'm going to someone's house that's going to be able to, you know, help me. And I had no idea what it was going to be at that time, but I remember knocking on her door. I went to her beautiful home in Vanderhoof, and I was so nervous, but I was so excited. I remember knocking on the door, and she answers the door, and there's these cute little dogs running around, and she's like, hello. And I was just like, ooh. And I was like, I feel like I've been here before, when she was leading me to her healing room in the back where she teaches classes. And I remember stopping and looking at the beautiful painting of a lotus flower, and she goes, you notice something? You okay? And I'm like, I can't place my finger on it, but I just feel like I've been here before or something. Like it was weird. And I was like, huh. And next thing you know, in the near future, I would be there again for sure. And so when I sat down for my first session with one-on-one with Maria, I learned that I was an empath a lot more deeply. I learned that the reason why I was struggling with getting over my eating disorder was because that was a way I was learning how to purge, and I've been doing it for so long. I didn't have any other techniques, and that's when she started to. She shared her gifts with me. She shared about myself and really helped me understand on a deeper level everything I was experiencing is okay. And I have never turned back since, and she's been a part of my journey and my life, and I'm absolutely grateful for her, for Creator, and all of the people who helped us like just get here. And so yeah,
Absolutely.
that's a part of my story.
Well, that's a beautiful journey. I'm honored to be a part of that. It's so cool to hear how far people have come, right? Like I've been teaching theta healing, gosh, since 2010 actually, 2010. I've been teaching 15 years now. Wow. Big aha moment. And it's so amazing to see how much it's changed my life, but also how theta healing has changed other people's lives. So I'm honored to share with you. Yeah, so with your learning to have different tools to cope with feeling other people's emotions and understanding that you were feeling other people's emotions. And I loved what you said earlier about that aha of just, what? Everyone doesn't just feel everyone's feelings? What? Really? And I think at some level everyone does, but they perhaps have learned to block it, or I see a lot of people that are naturally empathic. Their survival technique is to go into their head. So they become very head-based rather than feeling-based, because it was too much to be in their body and feel not only their feelings, but everyone else's, right? So it's interesting you say that, because when I was young, I didn't know what I was feeling was mine or not mine, right? I didn't have that discernment at all. So you had an epiphany way before I did. It took me listening to a podcast to realize maybe half of what I was feeling wasn't mine. Like I was listening to this guy speak, and he was asking this woman all of these questions. I don't even remember the context, but I remember the question he asked. And she's sharing everything she's feeling about this story. And he just asks, is that yours? Are all of those feelings yours? And I was sort of following along this woman's story, but from my own perspective, my own personal story of being anorexic. So I relate to your story of being bulimic because my coping was anorexia, right? And I was following along in this story and realizing, why haven't I been fully able to shift this, eating disorder? And it had been years. And that question that he asked that woman, I asked myself, and then boom, it was like this being struck in the head with lightning. It was like Creator showed me that all the way back to when I was a child at 11 years old. And my mother and my sister and a sister-in-law, we all decided we were going to do this diet together. Now, I'm 11. I wasn't overweight, but I had very low self-esteem. So I thought I was, right? So I thought, well, I want to be like the big girls and do a diet, right? So I'm 11. So of course my body can lose weight quite easily if you don't eat, right? So that's where that energy of learning to cope with those feelings came from. But I realized in that question that man asked of, is this mine? I saw my sister-in-law's face. And I'm like, oh my God, none of this anorexia was mine at all. None of it was. My empathic ability, because I wanted to bond with her, is I took on that paradigm. It's almost like if you could put a hologram around yourself and go, oh, now this is me and this is how I perceive the world. That's what I did. And it's crazy. Once I saw that, just with that question, is this mine? It absolutely changed my world on, oh my God, half of what I'm feeling, if not more, is not mine. And these paradigms are not mine. No wonder I can't heal them, right? You probably had that realization on some point too.
Yes, I absolutely did.
Do you remember when that aha was? When that aha of, oh my God, this won't heal because it's not mine to heal. Just let it go.
After we did my first session, for self-esteem, I thought all of my insecurities about myself, my body, what I figured and what I thought, down to the littlest things, were not mine. That was how some people were experiencing their bodies in high school. And so when I released that, I realized there was nothing wrong with my face, my body, my nose, everything. I was like,
wow.
Yeah, that was my aha moment.
Wow. Isn't that cool? And I hope people listening to this are maybe following along in their own personal journey with this aha moment that we're sharing, because it is profound. When you understand that majority of what you perceive about yourself is what you copy and mimic from around you, right? You take on these paradigms that are not even yours. So, wow, that's amazing. So,
Yes.
these discoveries and these ahas were a huge part for you to understand that discernment, right? That discernment of what's your energy, what is other people's energies. So how did that shift in your experience of the world? Like, did
What
you...
ended up shifting for me personally after I started to learn, these different tools to put into my bag, is that I would ask the questions: is it mine? How was I feeling before I walked into a room, before I walked into a setting?
Yeah.
Or when someone else enters the room and the energy shifts, and I now feel a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous maybe, and is it mine? And if I ask that question repeatedly, because if you ever do a session, you will be asked, is this yours? And you'll start to learn that discernment, and you get better at it as time goes on. And once I realize it's not mine, I know I'm safe. I'm okay. I can be in my own energy, have my own feelings. And what they're experiencing or feeling is how they're feeling, and that is okay.
Yeah.
And letting go of the I need to fix it so you're comfortable, I'm comfortable, everything's okay.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. So what other tools do you use? So the discernment is really the asking the question, is this my feeling? And noticing the difference, right? On how you felt before entering a room, before you go to work, whatever it is. Because us both being empaths, probably when we're by ourselves, we're quite content. We're quite happy-going, easygoing people. And then all of a sudden, if we're picking up too much energy, we can be feeling that energy. And I know myself as a child, I acted it out because I didn't have that filter, right? So if my dad was angry and I felt that angry, all of a sudden I would be angry, right? Or if my mom was depressed, I would act that out. It's like this simple copy and mimic that we do as children. So how did it change your world just to realize that you didn't need to act out those things anymore?
It changed my world by getting to experience my life and my reality with the way I wanted to, and taking my power back by I don't have to say no to events anymore. I don't have to process anyone else's emotions or feelings. And when I go into a big setting and there's like hundreds of people or 50 people, I know that as soon as I walk into a room, I'm not going to be overwhelmed or influenced by it in any way. And the discernment comes in, and it just, okay, that's not mine. And using theta healing was a great tool for me to empower myself by working on my beliefs and becoming more aware of other people's boundary lines and mine and my energy field. And I learned a lot of that through the empath program that ended up taking with you, because I started to pick up on it and understand on a deeper level. Okay, I feel myself, and I'm starting becoming aware of someone else's energy fields. Like, you can actually start to feel what someone else's energy field feels like, and how yours is different. And learning about the outside energies that could really affect you, because their energy knows no bounds.
No.
And what I mean is, collectively, we can even pick up negative thoughts from somebody who's living next door to you, in your community, even from the collective. If there's a big fear going around, you will end up plugging into that and picking up onto it. So knowing that discernment is important. So that's what the empath program really taught me. Is it can come from anywhere. So
yeah, even the planets aligning and the sun and all. So thank you for referring. So what Tiffany is speaking about is, I have an online program called the Healer's Heart Empathic Program. And it was designed in mind for empaths to make them aware of what they're feeling and where it's coming from. So that when you have that discernment, all of a sudden you have that power back, right? And you're like, oh, I'm feeling this way, because all of a sudden your intuition will tell you, oh, must be solar flares today. or it must be the group collective. It's all of a sudden your instincts and your intuition get a lot stronger when you have that discernment and you realize, oh, it's not just me being hormonal or I used to call myself crazy because I literally felt this roller coaster all the time. And for those of you that have been listening to my podcast a while, I've shared my personal journey of, I was diagnosed as bipolar because the medical field, I don't think, understands empaths and that discernment that we really need to learn so that we can self-monitor ourselves and self-regulate ourselves, right? And realize ourselves that we don't need to act out everything we feel as well. So, yeah, no, it's a great program that I will be relaunching again pretty soon. I'm just tweaking it a little bit, and it's on a new platform, so it's kind of cool. But so what other tools do you use, Tiffany, to help you be empowered? Like you were talking about going into large events and stuff and using some theta healing tools. So maybe you could talk about that. And you could also teach these in private sessions, couldn't you? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So before I go into a big event, I usually do my day as a ritual where I get up in the morning, I say my gratitude, I connect with Creator in a theta healing state, and I just kind of feel how I'm feeling, what the day's going to kind of look like, what I want it to look like, and I have my coffee and I get ready for the day. And so before I even walk into a big room, I'm already aware of how I'm feeling. I'm aware of I influence the room. My energy doesn't have to take anything on that's not mine. And that's also having boundaries. Like boundaries go a lot more than just setting a boundary with someone. You're also setting an energetic boundary for yourself and like what you allow into your space and not. Mm-hmm. And you get to know yourself on a deeper self-awareness, which I had to really learn. Mm-hmm. And it's definitely a practice. And when I walk into a room, into a setting, I feel everyone's energy in that, but it doesn't have to come into my space in a way that it stays there. Mm-hmm. And it's not about fighting against it, because I used to fight against it a lot.
Yeah, totally.
And that's actually, what you put your energy into is end up going to be persisting. So I would stop fighting it and just acknowledge, okay, that's how they're feeling. Feelings and emotions aren't scary, that I just have to be aware of it, and that's all right, just let it go. Okay. And then once you do that, it shifts for you because it's not scary anymore. You're not afraid of your gifts. It's becoming that empowered empath. Yes. And it does take time, but working with yourself and understanding yourself is going to help shift how you feel about being an empath. And when we say empowered empath, and people are like, it's so overwhelming. I get it, because I was there at the very beginning. Like, if you're an empath, you know what it's like.
Absolutely.
But working through it and shifting it, you become empowered and you recognize the gift that you're given and you get to share it with others. Because I think it's a beautiful thing knowing how people are feeling on a deeper level. It creates that bond and that understanding for us as humans.
Mm-hmm. And compassion, right? Compassion for them. Yeah.
That's compassion and understanding. Maybe they're having a rough day. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to create a story about it. You don't have to hold on to it. You don't have to do anything with it. Because it's not, we don't have to do anything. It's recognizing that we don't have to change the way they're feeling. Mm-hmm. We don't have to fix it. But I think compassion and kindness and understanding is a beautiful thing. Being First Nations, I did have to do quite a bit of self-work around on my own ancestral trauma about embracing our gifts and there's nothing wrong with us and shifting those, especially with, sometimes I'd have trouble shifting it with Creator and Maria. So I needed Maria to hold space for me so that we can shift it and learning about First Nations people and their DNA and embracing their gifts too. So
Absolutely. Yeah. I truly see, because I've worked with a lot of First Nations over the years, and it's in your blood to be empathic. Like I tell you all the time, like it's how you would carry your historical stories, right? Your history that was orally passed down is in being an empath. You could feel the story when your ancestors told the story. Right? And you would carry that knowledge and those feelings. So it's in your blood to be empathic, but maybe just didn't understand that you don't need to carry the emotions to have the learning. So that's the big shift, and honoring the ancestors for doing that and holding the knowledge in that way, but that they're safe to have the knowledge and the learning without carrying the heaviness of all the emotions with it, right? So very cool. That's very cool. Are there any other tools you use when going into big events, or we're coming into the holidays, right? So for me, it used to be a big stressor coming into the holidays. Sometimes our family can trigger us the most, right? Even though you love them, it's just like, okay. So what are some other tools that you use to kind of keep your energy strong, keep you in that empowered place? Any ideas?
Any ideas about that? So when I would go to family events and activities, I would take on everyone else's stuff and I would try to be the savior. And I would try to save everyone and fix everything for everyone so they would feel better and so that I could feel better. I no longer do that.
Yeah.
I actually sit in creators' love and energy, and I share it by just listening to what they're saying and sitting in compassion and love for what they're experiencing. And a lot of the times I don't even have to do anything anymore, because people will actually shift because you're sharing that energy with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite powerful and impactful for how you feel. Like we share everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's teaching. If you're sitting in a group with children, like I used to work at a daycare. I remember when I was sitting in a group with children, and the kids would be all chaotic sometimes, and they're having a moment, and once someone comes in, they change the energy in the room. So what if you can influence the room in a way that shifts the energy from being all chaotic, overwhelmed, stressed, by just being in your own energy? And when you do a lot of self-work, you start to recognize that you can be peaceful, you can be compassionate, you can be calm. You can still experience how everyone else is feeling without taking it on. There's those boundaries, and you become an influence.
Yeah.
It's a powerful thing to have, and people actually just shift themselves because, oh, she's not freaking out, but they're not even conscious aware it's happening.
Yes. Yeah. And you remain peaceful, holding that energy of creator, emanating that out, shifting the energy of the room to stay calm. And isn't it cool how people kind of will gravitate to you in that calmness as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's magical. In Theta Healing, we have a class called Building Your Intuition, and it used to be called Rainbow Kids, but it's really about teaching you your power to change the energy in the room, right? And imagine if we could teach our children this, how to be the true energetic change in the world that we want to see. So that's where we're coming into, everybody. I love it. I love it. So Tiffany, I know you take clients. You take clients on Thursdays and Fridays. So you're a practitioner of Theta Healing. You've done lots of classes. She's an excellent practitioner, everybody. She really can help you not only with your learning how to discern with your empathic gifts, but truly she's a very, very gifted intuitive healer. So please work with Tiffany too. So how do people get a hold of you, my dear?
People can get a hold of me either through my website, which I'm going to be updating and moving more into working with my clients on Thursdays and Fridays, and also stepping in to be an instructor. And I think the best way to get a hold of me is through my Facebook page, which is Tiffany's Goddesses Healing Arts Facebook. And you can message me on there. And then if you want to set up a time, I can work with you there. And then also, whether it's through, Zoom or it's Facebook, you can definitely connect, or FaceTime.
Okay.
I'm definitely looking forward to my next goals and what I'm working on, and that's finishing my book, getting it edited and putting it out into the world, most likely through Amazon. Yeah. So it'll be self-publishing.
Yeah.
And that's just a bit about my journey, about where I started and where I am today and how I got here. And then I also want to step more into theta healing. I want to continue with taking classes, but I also want to step into teaching. So some of my goals are to get my certificate of science, to be a teaching instructor, and to go to Montana and to learn with Vienna, but also to do that. You can also do it online, which is amazing. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yes.
And having students and clients. So, yay.
And moving into that public speaking realm.
Yes. Absolutely.
We've all seen Tiffany being a public speaker. We do an exercise in Theta Healing called Divine Timing. And we just go up and we ask Creator to show us our divine timing. And everybody that's kind of done a reading on Tiffany is like, you're going to be speaking to a lot of people. And she kind of fought that for a little while, but now she's starting to see that, yeah, that's actually maybe what I'm supposed to do. So I love it, right? I love it.
Absolutely. Sometimes I will practice speaking, and I'm like getting ready in the mirror, and I'm like, doing my hair, brushing my teeth, and I'm like, why do I feel like I need to speak? And I'll start talking about a topic, and I'm not talking directly to anybody at the moment, but I'm like, I feel like I'm preparing to talk to people, and I'm rehearsing.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Creator's getting you ready. I love it. Well, thank you for joining me today, Miss Tiffany. It's been an honor to share this time with you, and I hope that this helped everyone listening today. So thank you, everyone that joined us today. Is there any last words that you have, any downloads or anything you'd like to give from Creator, Tiffany? So just to let you know, as Tiffany's connecting to Creator, a download is just if you would like a download, meaning we witness Creator's unconditional love bringing in this new energy into your awareness, into your body, so that you can know what these things feel like. And it's easier to create them and experience them in your life if you've had the frequency in your cells. So any downloads that you're picking up, Tiffany?
Would you like to have discernment between your thoughts and your feelings and between other people's?
Oh, yes, please. So all you need to agree to the download is in your own awareness. Just say yes to yourself. And saying it out loud is even more powerful. Your ears will hear it and really allow the energy into your whole subconscious. So thank you, Tiffany.
Would you like to be able to have compassion for others without taking on their thoughts, energy, or emotions or trauma in the highest and best way?
Yes, please.
Would you like to be able to have self-love and compassion and kindness towards yourself and others when you are feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling heavy, or you're feeling a lot of negative thoughts, that you can still be compassionate, kind and compassionate towards yourself and others, and having that for yourself in the highest and best way?
Yes.
Can Creator also show you that the thoughts and emotions and heavy feelings of others don't have to affect your self-esteem or even your own?
Oh, beautiful. Yes.
Can Creator show you that you are loved and worthy, even when someone when someone else is also experiencing those heavy emotions, that you are still worthy and that you are loved?
Yes.
Can Creator show you that you are loved completely and wholly, and that you are a part of the Creator?
Yes. And if I can offer as well from Creator, just that you're safe to feel, for yourself, for others, without being overwhelmed, and that's possible.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. So thank you again, Tiffany. It's such an honor. And everybody on the podcast, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
I love you.
bye-bye.
Bye.